This week on The Gadget Show.
We head for the hills with a phone that claims to be the most resilient in the world.
Put the latest generation of handheld GPSs through their paces.
Nearly drowned testing some state-of-the-art tents.
No! And then, as if all that wasn't enough, we race around on some of the coolest off-road kit you can buy.
Hello and welcome to The Gadget Show.
This week, we're going wild in the country.
Yeah, once in every series, we head out into the middle of absolutely nowhere to face the elements, to test an array of gadgetry to their limits.
OK, let's start with some hard-as-nails, ruggedised mobile phones like this one from JCB, the guys behind the diggers.
Yeah, and the guys behind the diggers, by the way, claim that that is the world's most resilient phone. What a claim.
No, it's never good to claim those things, is it?
We love it.
It's like a red rag to two little bulls, isn't it?
Yes, OK. What Jason's actually alluding to is the fact that we couldn't wait to get our hands on this JCB phone to test its claims, so we took that, along with this rather more modest-looking Samsung tough phone, into the wilds to test them both to destruction.
I was championing the JCB Tough Phone. So hardcore, it's all in capitals. They're so confident in it that it comes with a 3-year warranty.
I went for the slightly more stylish Samsung Solid. It's Samsung's first ever rugged phone and comes with shock protection, dust and water resistance.
And so to the challenge and our first test, waterproofness. Now, having a phone that's resistant to water may not sound important, but it's really easy when... Oh, I don't believe I did that. It's really easy to drop liquid on your phone as you go out and about your business. So, how to test the waterproofiness of our phones. With whitewater rafting!
The Samsung and the JCB both claim a level of splash or spray resistance, but how would they cope getting soaked by these raging rapids?
So you can hear that the phones were still working while we were on the river without the soundman getting all of his expensive kit wet. We both dialed into a conference call, which he picked up from the shore.
Are we ready to go? Is this it?
As we paddled off, we had no idea what was in store. Neither of us had ever done this before.
Ready to go!
Time and time again, we got battered by freezing cold waves. We were getting soaked, and so were the phones.
My Samsung's got an IP54 rating, which means that its case protects the electronics against water spray from all different directions, which is a good job on the rapids.
The rubber case is sealed with military-spec glue to keep the water out.
Just like my JCB Tough Phone.
My Tough Phone wouldn't be any good for a long swim, but with the flaps that surround the charger socket, which are quite tough, it should keep it watertight.
After an hour of watery abuse, we headed for the shore.
Oh my God, that is cold!
To check that the phones were still in working order.
Can you hear me? Hey, it's a thumbs up.
Did you hear it all the way down?
Fantastic, that's impressive,
Excellent.
isn't it? Like, whoa, and then this
Really
massive...
adrenaline filled.
Yeah, I think I weaved myself as well, but it was quite nice.
It was time to get violent. We chained our phones to the back of a couple of quad bikes to find out just how rugged they really are.
Tally-ho! Woo!
As we went hell for leather around the course, the phones crashed into rocks, stones and other hazards. But, to be fair, they're designed to be able to take this kind of punishment.
My Samsung Solid is housed in this tough little rubber body. So hopefully it's protecting all the intricate workings from all the shock and bouncing on the rocks that it's taking on this course.
My JCB phone is built to be used on building sites where it gets knocked and bashed around. It's got reinforced plastic and rubber on the outside to protect its electronics. And even the battery's held in by a reinforced screw.
After numerous laps of punishment, the phones were torn from their chains.
No, yours is gone! The phone's off! It's come off.
But were they still working?
Okay. Oh, it's on. It's on.
Oh, no.
It's on. Is yours not working?
The screen was cracked, but would it turn on?
Yes,
Oh.
yes, yes! Oh, yes! Phone Master!
To find a winner, we needed to get even more extreme. We'd already pushed these phones past anything that could be considered reasonable. We were now going to run them over with this Massey Ferguson tractor. We carefully lined them up so they got an even hit, then sat back and waited.
Go, Alan, go!
Oh!
The tractor weighs just under 4,000 kilograms, with 990 kilograms of that carried by this front tyre. That's enough to crush any phone into the ground. But these aren't just any phones.
No, it's lost.
Well, it's gone off. Mine's gone off.
So
It was
mine.
on. Oh, there, look. Oh, no, looks like some part of the screen has actually been smashed.
OK, here we go.
Yay! Oh, I mean, it's called the Tough Phone, OK? They say it's the most resilient phone in the world. It clearly is not. I mean, I don't know about you, but I thought I had my...
Beforehand?
I thought I had it stitched up. This was going to survive anything we could throw at it. I'd much rather go with the Samsung if I was going to go for a phone that could stand up to the kind of punishment we threw at them.
Exactly, it's much tougher. And look, it's still working. I'll just switch it on and show you. Still going. Brilliant. Well, look, after all that excitement and rough and tumble, it's time for a break now, but stick around. Loads more still to come.
John shows us the results of 18 months of testing the best way to receive and record digital TV.
And we cower in some pretty impressive tents as all hell is unleashed.
Oh, that's disgusting!
Now, I want to talk to you about personal video recorders, or PVRs. As you'll probably know, they're basically digital set-top boxes with built-in hard drives and electronic program guides that allow you to record programs quite literally at the touch of a single button. Problem is, which is the best one to get? Well, I've been trying out 3 of the main PVR services available: Virgin's V+, Freeview and Sky's Sky Plus. And I've been using them at home for the last 18 months to try and find out which one indeed is the best one to get.
The first thing to do is check what you can get, because a surprisingly large number of people still can't receive all 3 systems.
Virgin's cable service has least coverage of the 3, reaching just half the population. Check your postcode on their website. 75% of the population can receive Freeview, though that'll improve as analog switch-off continues.
Sky has 98% coverage. Virtually the whole country falls under its satellite footprint. But that doesn't mean everybody's able to receive it. If you live in a conservation area or in a listed building, you're often forbidden to erect a satellite dish, which is strange, considering you're allowed to have a car and you're allowed out of your house without wearing your smock.
Now, the next question to ask yourself is exactly what you want to watch and how much you're prepared to pay for it.
A Freeview PVR is the bargain option. This Umax costs 180 quid and that's it. No subscription and no installation fee. Freeview comes through your rooftop aerial. Plug it in and it automatically tunes itself. Though 43 digital channels sounds a lot, it's actually quite restrictive.
There's no sports channels. There's 1 or 2 music channels, but you get dozens of them on Sky. BBC Parliament, another winner, and nothing on demand. You're always missing everything like me. And actually the picture's not very good where I live either, which is a problem. And the other thing, there's no high definition.
Sky is the most expensive of the 3. This Sky HD box costs £249 if you order it online. There's a £30 installation fee for new customers, £60 for existing customers. Their entertainment package costs £21 a month, but this rises to £45 if you want the ultimate in sports and movies. Plus, there's £10 a month on top of that for the HD subscription.
What you do get, obviously, with Sky is just this great abundance of choice. You can get things when you want them, you can get them in the future, you can pay for them, you might have paid for them already. I mean, it's absolutely everything's here. Brilliant. Music channels. Oh, Sky Premiere, Premiere Plus One, comedy, action, family, drama, sci-fi, horror, classics, modern greats. I mean, just HD channels alone, you get, well, dozens of them, covering everything. Bedroom TV, what's that?
Virgin is somewhat cheaper than Sky overall, but their installation fee is £150, and you have to pay £5 a month for the V Plus box, unless you get their top TV package, which costs £20.50 a month. And if you want Sky movies and sports, you'll have to pay another £25 a month.
Trouble is, compared to Sky, you're always noticing stuff you're not getting. You're only down now to 1 HD channel, for example, from the BBC. Perfectly good channel, but I want more.
What you do get, though, is Virgin's unrivaled on-demand service that gives you instant access to a huge library of programmes and movies.
But there's more to the story than that, because this isn't only about what you get,
It's also about how easy the systems are to use. And for that, you've got to look at the remote controls, the boxes, and the EPGs.
To assess them, I invited a few people round to see what they thought. And as the TV's used by the whole family, I asked testers of all ages. First up, the Humax.
How do we record it?
OK, that wasn't easy at all.
Its remote can be tricky to get the hang of, but it's easier once you're used to it.
Yes!
Right, onto the V Plus box. It's got 3 tuners where the others only have 2, so you can watch one programme while recording 2 others.
I don't know what to record because I don't like recording it.
But it's really clunky to use.
A bit slow. There's definitely a pause or a delay.
Plus, it's very unreliable. It needs regular resetting, and I've had 2 boxes pack up altogether in just 18 months.
Oh, it should have done it.
Finally, Sky. It's right up there with Apple's finest, making technology accessible, usable and unintimidating.
That one.
Yes!
That's it, now
Brilliant.
click on select.
That's quite good, actually, because it's come up with a list of all the other things that it's recorded.
So, which one did our group go for?
Sky.
I found Sky the easiest.
Sky.
Sky.
Well, from your film, John, after 18 months of testing, I think it's fairly obvious which one you like the best. But let's have a look at the G ratings of all of them.
I mean, there are no losers here. I mean, they're all very good. And I'd give the Humax 3 Gs because, after all, once you've bought it, it is effectively from there on free. There's no subscription. And providing you're happy with the basic range of channels, you don't want HD, you don't want anything on demand, it does an extraordinarily good job. And also, you can record radio programmes with the EPG, which the other 2 can't do.
Just you to find that out. OK, what about the Virgin box?
3 Gs for the Virgin. It is too clunky to use, but you do get that wonderful range of on-demand material, though it's rather short on HD material, unfortunately.
OK, so 3 Gs for both of those. What about Sky HD?
4G for Sky HD. It's not perfect. I mean, it is the easiest to use. It's by far the slickest interface, and it does have the greatest choice, by far, of the 3. But it could do with another tuner, and it could also do with more on-demand material. But nevertheless, it is the best of the 3.
OK, so the Gadget Show's favourite PVR package is Sky HD.
Time to return to this week's challenge. Now, John joined us for the next stage, which meant that the 3 of us were now sat on a beautiful Welsh hummock waiting to see what the Gadget Show boys and girls had planned for us.
Nice of you to turn up for the jolly jaunt.
Yes, a bit of a stroll in the country. I thought it'd be rather nice.
John brought envelopes for each of us, and more importantly, our instructions.
Here we go.
Now, dear presenters, the next test is very simple.
You'll be testing 3 of the latest and best handheld GPS devices.
Hurrah! I had the Sat Map Active 10, which incorporates genuine full-quality Ordnance Survey maps.
I had Garmin's Colorado 300. Released at the start of the year, its GPS receiver is apparently one of the most accurate in the world.
And lastly, I had the Magellan Explorer 600, the most basic of the 3, but also the simplest to use.
We were each blindfolded and driven to separate start points, equidistant from the finish. The winner would be the first person to cross the finishing line.
Waiting for us were a series of coordinates and an instruction sheet. We each had to program a route and follow it back to base as quickly as possible. The easiest to use and the most accurate would be the winner.
3, 2, 1, go!
Coordinates. Excellent.
My God!
Each set of numbers represented a point we had to reach along the route, a waypoint, which was the first test. How easy are these GPSs to program?
Using the little joystick and the mark button took me about 30 seconds to type in each set of coordinates.
Once you get the hang of it, it's quite simple.
Mine, on the other hand, was not so simple. The Garmin's control system, the rock and roller jog wheel, is supposed to make one-handed operation simple, but I found it laborious. It wasn't a speedy process.
Battery's low! Look, I was going to run out of batteries before I put all my bloody points in.
Things couldn't have been more different with my Sat Map. This has got a really nice feature. It's got this kind of where am I function. So you press one button here, bottom left, and it shows you where you are. It's Crossroads, see it? There. It's all good. Then it was just a matter of scrolling across the extremely detailed 25,000 to 1 scale Ordnance Survey map until the numbers matched up. Done. 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 Such a simple process that each set only took about 15 seconds and I was ready to go in just under 5 minutes. OK.
As Jason burst into action, I still had a few coordinates left to type in. I finished those.
Right, brilliant, that's the last one.
And 10 minutes after I started, I was on my way.
Right, onwards. It couldn't be more beautiful.
After my battery debacle, it was a hefty 21 minutes before I was underway.
Let's go, let's go. I need to be going over here.
Meanwhile, I was tearing through the course thanks to the sat map.
It's great. The Ordnance Survey map has evolved over many years, and it's designed so that you can just look at it like a tube map and get all the information you want thanks to colours and all kinds of simple symbols. That, combined with satellite tracking, is an unbeatable combination. We need to be down there.
My Magellan had nowhere near the detail of Jason's map, so it was trickier to follow at first. But there's a compass mode which has a target on it, which tells you which way to go, as well as another handy feature.
Look, my alarm's going off. I'm at waypoint 5. Little tiny alarm, very quiet, but tells you you're going the right way.
Which was more than could be said for me.
See, now it's pointing down there. This is ridiculous. We've been walking for quite some time in this direction, but it's telling me that the car where we started is over there, whereas I know for a fact it's over there. 180 degrees in the opposite direction.
The Garmin's fairly basic map does have all the essential features on it. Contours, streams, tracks, etc. It just didn't seem to update quickly enough for me to be sure I was heading the right way.
OK, straight line.
I was having no problems whatsoever. My sat map was accurately updating my position as I ran, leading me to the exact points I'd been given. I approached the final waypoint in record time, only to be confronted by a major obstacle, a raging torrent of a river. As I was left to find a way across, Susie was gaining ground.
While Jason thought through his options, I got ever nearer.
In the end, there was only one way I could see to guarantee victory. The river had held me up, and it was going to be very close, but me and the sat map had done enough.
Yeah, this is it, look. There it is.
But when I arrived, I had just one question.
Where's John?
Absolutely no idea.
John, it's Susie and Jace, where are you?
I think that was help me.
No idea where I am, though.
Worse, the sun was setting and things weren't looking good.
My geography teacher, Mr. Bruce, always advised me the Welsh countryside was no place to be after dark without an adequate supply of provisions.
So I opted to abandon the Garmin and hitch a ride instead.
We're doing a thing for the Gadget crew.
Hey! Hi!
We would just like to make the point here that that was a genuine person that was giving him a lift.
Yes, it was.
You did actually have
and a
to
very
hitch.
keen viewer as well. Which
You
is
were
good.
lost, weren't you?
Yes. Thanks to this,
Yes.
actually, which is just amazingly slow to react. We're used to sat-navs in cars reacting more or less instantly. This takes minutes to react to your change in a position.
Well, actually, that's the problem I felt with this. It didn't calibrate quick enough for me. Jace, yours was by far the best.
It was blissful. I mean, from the moment I entered the coordinates in, it was really easy to do, just moving the jog wheel around. I could operate it easily with these big chunky buttons using gloves.
So it's really revolutionary, sort of the iPhone of personal sat-navs.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. Anyway, it's now time for the focus group.
Each week on The Gadget Show, John, Jason and I find the best gadgets we can in a particular category. We then present them to our focus group and they tell us which one they like the best. Now, this week, we found some rather funky foot gadgets to play around with, and we've come to a park near the studio, and our focus group is made up of, well, what are you guys? Skaters, skiers, into extreme sports, boarders, all that kind of stuff. They're going to tell us which one they think is the best. And Jason Bradbury, you're going to go first.
Come on! All right. These are trail skates. The idea is that they take the concept of inline skating off the tarmac and allow you to use the rest of the park. They do this by virtue of 4 precision-engineered aluminium wheels with pneumatic tyres that absorb all the shocks. Obviously, a brake is incredibly important because they're quite scary. I'll show you what I mean. You've got to be quite good at skating to try these things. They're a little bit clunky as you get up to the slope, but once you go, woo! Yeah! Oh, you did it! That was all right.
Right,
Right, chaps, prepare for a little bit of bounceability with these anti-gravity boots. Like Jason's skates, you can keep your trainers on, you put them into this sort of ski boot contraption, and you're off. You're away, you can start bouncing. The reason why you can is because underneath you've got this high-impact rubber T-spring that not only takes the impact on your joints while you're bouncing, but it also turns your downward energy into bounceability. And
now I've got what could be sort of the ultimate in personal transport gadgets, your own pair of self-propelled shoes. They're called iShoes. Any volunteers? You, sir. Yep. You will do. Now, they actually go to up to 13.5 miles an hour, apparently, on these. Now, rather strangely, it's only 1 foot's motorised. There is your accelerator. I need to switch them on. Go. Hey, wheel spin! Brilliant!
Having presented our kit, we let our focus group have a bit of a play and decide what they liked best.
The gravity boots were wicked, actually. A lot of fun.
To begin with, they do take a bit of getting used to.
They're pretty cool.
After a few minutes, the springs start to really bounce, so they're really fun.
They were pretty good. It's just that you have to get used to them. I just don't like them.
OK, focus group, now is the time for you to tell us which one you like the best. Will it be Jason's all-terrain skates? Put your hands in the air. 2, couple for Jason's skates.
Okay.
All right, next up then, the anti-gravity boots. Any voters for that? Any takers?
Oh, my
quite a
goodness.
few. What, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And finally, John's iShoes. Hey! 4 for John's iShoes.
You freaks!
Yeah.
You mad freaks!
So, the winner of this week's focus group for Gadget footwear are my anti-gravity boots.
Right, time for another break now, but after that...
We reveal the top 5 Gadget toys that will hit the shops this year.
And it gets intense when we get intense, as we test some pretty impressive portable shelters with some pretty impressive fake weather. There's rain, wind, mud, and loads of water. No! You know you want to see this. Welcome back. Now it's time for the top 5, which, strangely, is a collection of what we consider to be the top 5 best gadgets in a particular category. This week, it's toys. Location, the annual London Toy Fair. Toys, yay! Where manufacturers show off their top products for the year ahead. This bit of plastic and polystyrene called Blade Star may not look like much, but it's a major advance in the flying toys market, and the inventor himself couldn't help showing off its skills to me. It looks like we're using the Force to do this. We're not. It's infrared radar, OK? You've got an infrared beam, which is shining out, but because the object's spinning, it works in the same way radar does, and it detects the presence of an object, so it's got an awareness of its surroundings. Absolutely awesome. You're looking at something called Swinks. It's a fantastic concept. It's an outdoor, activity-based games console. Basically, a talking computer, it guides kids through a bunch of different games or stories. The kids wear RFID wrist bracelets, which lets the machine interact wirelessly with them and keep track of their individual scores. They can also download and install more games, or even create their own.
Okay.
So let's see if it works. I'm ready for my dash.
The next one up is red. Go.
Okay. Swinks explains the games, cheers, keeps scores, and even referees.
Wow, that was fast.
Thank you. Games available range from hide and seek to educational quizzes and, of course, running races, which are all adjusted according to the ages of the people playing. This will give me an opportunity to stop people boring me when they abuse me as a games player and saying that I should encourage children to get out and do something more constructive. This is it! My choice of third place is a successor to the hugely popular Robo-Sapien. It's a 3-wheeled robot called the Tribot. It has a massive range of movement and can even be controlled by just tilting the remote. It also has a whole bunch of different modes, like an alarm. So imagine that you're asleep in your bed, OK? And this is how you're going to wake up. All right, enough already. Thank you. And number 2 is this little chap. He's called Isobot and is the world's smallest mass-production bipedal humanoid robot. And what he lacks in size, he certainly makes up for in features. He's only 16.5 centimetres tall, but can perform over 200 pre-programmed actions, including push-ups, somersaults, dancing and hula-ring, amongst others. And he can recognise 10 voice commands. Go forward. And say several phrases. Here we go. In the top spot is a toy that I and a lot of geeks like me are extremely excited about. He's made by Meccano, and his name is Spiky. Cool. It's a seriously advanced toy for big kids. In the time-honoured spirit of Meccano, you build it yourself, and apparently any piece of Meccano ever made will fit with Spiky. Well, Meccano has evolved. Spiky, the spy robot, Wi-Fi control, which means that you can do what I'm doing with him now anywhere in the world. So he could be in, I don't know, Oxford Circus, or I could be in Hong Kong, and I could drive him around, use his camera to look where he's going, and set functions like the video surveillance function. Look, I'll show you what I mean. I'll just set it going. If he sees anything now, if anything moves in front of him, an alarm will go off. You can then take a snapshot of their face. That snapshot can be sent to the computer or even emailed to you wherever you are in the world. I mean, for me, it's just another example of how simple technologies like infrared and wireless internet connection have evolved to a point where, you know, the future is essentially here.
All right, enjoy yourself there, did you?
Suze, I was in my element. But isn't Spiky amazing?
Amazing.
And you can
Absolutely.
imagine, you can make him into just about anything you like.
I've got something to show you, though. Look!
Suze, we've done them before, lightsabers.
Yeah, I know, but they normally come pre-assembled, and you can only be one character. Come on, look. Because this, you can make your own. You've got different handles, different ends and stuff. I've made this one, but also what's brilliant, to change your character, you can change the light of the actual sabre, red, blue or green, just by switching this here.
Superb.
And as I want to fight you, you better get a building.
OK.
I'm ready.
All right. OK, turn the lights out.
Jason, I've got something here which I think could be rather useful. But in order to demonstrate it, I'd like you to do me a favour. Just run off down the road and in about 45 seconds, leave me a voicemail message.
All right.
Now, trouble with voicemails, it can be rather inconvenient. They often arrive, you haven't got a pen and paper with you to note it down, and you end up forgetting about it. But now there's a company called Spinvox, which actually will convert your voicemails automatically into text messages. The system can speak French, Spanish and German, as well as English, and there's a free trial on their website, and if you like it, you can subscribe.
Hi, John. It's Jason here, just testing this Spinvox thing. Hopefully you'll get this message. See ya.
Ah, now, here's Jason's message. Hi, John's Jason, just testing Spinvox thing. I'll leave a message, but actually I couldn't talk differently, but otherwise, you know, it's a whole... Gosh, concise as ever.
Right, time now for a bit more of this week's Wild Challenge. If you remember, we've already got to grips with rugged phones and handheld GPS devices. Both of those bits of testing involved us running around, getting very wet and rather muddy. But for part 3, we were told all we had to do was sit back, relax, and everything would happen around us.
Our third challenge turned out to involve tents. Just how much do you need to spend to get one that won't let you down when the weather gods get angry and it all turns a bit Glastonbury?
So what we've got here are 3 well-reviewed 2-man tents. The most expensive being just over £400 and the cheapest just under £30.
It was left to us to work out which tent was which and make a choice based solely on looks. As winner of the GPS race, I got to choose first. I'm going with this one.
Yeah.
I think it's the most expensive. And I was right. The Terra Nova is a full 4-season mountain tent, meaning it's good for any weather, any time.
I went next.
I'm going to go with this one. It's a bit of a risk.
OK, it's an
because it's
interesting
small,
choice.
but I think this is the middle one. I think this is a bit tougher than that one over there.
I was way out. The Gadget quick pitch pop-up tent is so cheap, it's almost disposable, but its manufacturers reckon it will withstand any weather.
I lucked out and got the thoroughly pleasant mid-range tent. The Kayam Igloo is supposedly one of the quickest tents to erect. Its poles are already threaded and it can go up in 20 seconds. But could its USP also be its Achilles heel?
Well, that's not the one I would have chosen, but I'm going to be really pleased because it's got such nice bright colours on the outside. Yeah.
Then we had nothing to do. No instructions, no mission to speak of, just a packed lunch and a wandering minstrel of a cameraman.
The calm was about to be shattered, though.
And your chance!
What? That's what the vibe of it.
We were being hit by 100 litres a minute of rain and 70-mile-an-hour winds.
But the tent seemed to be standing firm.
My Terra Nova is made of high tenacity nylon 6.6, which sounds completely cool, and actually is. It's 500% tougher than polyester. This is what's called a geodesic design. It's the toughest design for a tent in windy conditions. Judging by the buffeting on my tent is a really good thing.
My igloo has air vents up here which could let the water in, but for flaps that are activated by the wind and make a tight seal against the water.
On numerous occasions, the igloo looked like collapsing, but the pre-threaded poles snapped back into place, saving the day.
Feels good so far. The seams are all very well taped so they don't rip away from the pole.
And the overall aerodynamic shape of the tent seemed to deflect some of the wind's force.
After 15 minutes of torrential storm, the weather stopped as abruptly as it had started. Hi!
We'd all survived, but as we emerged from our tents, we were stopped in our tracks.
Get back in your tents, the challenge is not finished.
Blimey!
The wind and rain had been a mere starter, a middle-of-the-road support band to the heavy metal onslaught that was about to hit our tents. In the spirit of Glastonbury, we were pelted with mud from a muck spreader. We didn't know it yet, though.
What was that?
Look, look at the poo!
This was a really good test of the tent's strength. If they could stand up to the weight of muck, they could stand up to anything.
Wow, that was amazing!
Oh, my tent's collapsing on me!
Oh, God, it's coming back. This is the end for me.
Oh, look at it! Look at that!
The other two tents were fine, but mine collapsed in the middle, which made things quite uncomfortable.
Wow! It suddenly got really dark in here. Look at all that, look at it!
The poo is on my head.
Oh!
You are joking. Are we finished now?
Stay in your tents. The challenge is still not over.
Oh, no! No idea what's about to happen. That sounds a little bit ominous. We were right to be apprehensive. Waiting for us was a flash flood.
These tipping tanks contained nearly 3 tons of water. The plastic sheeting ensured that all that water would get to where it needed to be, right on top of us.
We were still unaware of what was coming, but the moment had arrived for the ultimate test.
Oh, no. Oh, my God, no!
The water crashed down and unerringly found its target.
My Terra Nova took most of the force, but it does have the highest waterproof rating, twice that of Susie's. Although it didn't help. No! My tent's been totaled! Look at my glove, look. My tent has definitely let in water without a shadow of a doubt.
Look, my tent's still here! It survived!
All right, so there is a little bit of water, but I'm actually still dry, and that is amazing.
So the other two had let a little water in. How had my igloo fared?
It's fantastic. It's very good in here. It's lovely.
Can we get out now?
Please let us out. Oh. The noise of that water coming down, I don't know about how you felt, but it was really scary.
It was terrifying, but they actually all fared really
well,
well,
They did do well,
didn't
but the truth is you and I got wet.
Yeah, but John didn't.
I was dry and cosy throughout, and my tent was clever enough to deflect all the water onto yours.
Yeah, thanks very much for that.
Elementary hydrology.
Very good. So we reckon on the Gadget Show, if you're going to buy a two-man tent, you can do a lot worse than get Jon's Kayam igloo. And Jon, that makes you winner of that test.
Ooh.
But will he win the next and final test? It's a big race. Join us after the break to find out.
OK, and welcome back to the last part of this week's extremely wild challenge.
Yep, and after whitewater rafting, quad biking, a quick run across the Welsh hillsides and being beaten to a pulp inside our own tents, all we wanted was a cup of tea and a rub down.
But no. Oh, no. There was still the obligatory Gadget Show race to finish things off with a flourish.
It was a two-stage race using both human and electrically powered vehicles. And for our first leg, it was all about pedal power.
I got the Trice Q Sports Trike, a monster custom-built three-wheeler with full rear suspension.
Mine was the KMX ST, a three-wheeler that's already an international success story.
I landed a more traditional cart, although my limited edition Dyno Raven does come with big fat off-road tyres.
This was the last of our hard-fought outdoor challenges. We'd won one each, so there was still everything to play for.
Oh, Susie's surging into the front.
My KMX is fantastic fun. It's an 8-speed off-road monster with award-winning brakes and a specially designed seat for greater off-road movement.
I hadn't had the best start, but the Trice Q felt up to the job.
Now, the Q in the name stands for quick, and it really is, but it's still very controllable with these twin disc brakes.
But that didn't help me on the uphill section, where the effort of pedalling also hit Susie's lead.
Mine's got no suspension, which makes for a pretty bumpy ride, but it has got double ball joint steering and a floating front axle, which should mean it's easy to steer, although I'm pretty sure that was a speed wobble. Oh.
As we approached the end of the pedal section, the final uphill push saw the last 2 days of running, paddling and general outdoor madness take their toll.
But with one superhuman effort, I managed to take the lead. It was still very close, though, as we headed into stage 2, the electric race. Waiting for me was this massive skate electric shredder with a top speed of 22 miles an hour.
I also had a very speedy off-road machine, the 20-mile-an-hour off-road GoPed hoverboard. Plug it into the wall and it'll cost you about 5p to fully charge it.
Mine was the Razor E300. It only has a top speed of 15 miles an hour, but it's by far the cheapest of the bunch.
We were off, and I screamed into the lead.
Oh, here she comes!
But Susie wasn't far behind. The shredder's wireless remote powers an 800-watt motor, and the skateboard's chunky tyres can take up to 100 kilograms. Balance was tricky, but the speed was amazing.
I got underway well behind the others. Unfortunately, this big kid's scooter didn't look like catching them anytime soon.
So there's no going any faster. Come on.
I was having no such trouble.
Look out, Jason Bradbury, I'm coming through!
As Jason struggled to balance, I screamed past him, going uphill. The GoPed has 2 modes, economy and super quick turbo mode. It also has an adjustable suspension and disc brakes, but I didn't need brakes, not while I lapped Jon anyway.
Come on, Mr. Bentley!
Oh! On the final straight, I had to give it everything if I was to catch Susie.
Power on. It'll go quicker than I've actually got courage for this.
But then...
Oh, it's gone off.
Disaster. The skateboard cut out.
Leaving me to take victory unchallenged.
But there was still a fight between me and Jon for second place.
It's just completely cut out on me.
How useless.
I frantically looked for the source of the problem.
While Susie came to my aid. Without Jason seeing us, she handed me her GoPed.
Watch it round the bottom on the gravelly bits.
Bentley's coming!
Go on, Jon!
Push!
Go on, Jon! Full
push!
Beep, beep, beep,
no!
beep, out the way!
Oh, no! How humiliating!
Woo!
Eventually, I made it over the line. To hollow applause.
Well done, guys. Oh. That was really unfair. I didn't actually know that you'd swapped. You cheated.
Well,
There's nothing in my copy of the Gadget Show challenge rules to say that you can't swap
We
scooters.
just used our initiative anyway. You broke down.
Yeah, you're right, I did. Although I did check, I actually got the bottom off it, and I found that a connector on the battery had come off, which is a real shame because, I mean, I was the kind of weakest link, really, because this machine will go about 20 miles an hour. The Skate Electric, I recommend it to anyone who likes skateboards and wants to go off-road. It's a lot of fun.
It does go fast, doesn't it? But the fact is that the GoPed, not only, ladies and gentlemen, did it win the race once, but no, it won twice. On that note of victory and me sounding rather like Jon Bentley, it's the end of the show.
See you next time.